Yeah, okay. It's gonna be should be louder now. Okay. And we're back in business. Seems like. If anybody's talking to anybody else that was in the previous stream and wants to forward them the link or share them the link, that would be awesome. So, oh man. Audio engineering stuff. My voice is probably clipping, or it says it's clipping. Not that I don't know if anybody watching really cares. So anyway, welcome again to Live Meditation with Jeremy. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do audio for these things, and maybe I'm overthinking it because I'm an audio engineer, but I've just been trying all these different settings to try to figure out how to reduce the noise in my room so you just hear me, but I don't want it to sound too fake and all this stuff. So, trial and error, baby. Okay, so what I was saying. Last Tuesday, we talked about the Vajra. And the Vajra is a symbol of compassion. It's used as a ritual scepter. It's also used like a magic wand in traditional Tibetan Buddhist ritual. But the thing is, you don't ever really see a Vajra by itself. You only ever see a Vajra really paired up with this, a Ganta bell. And so, along with the Vajra, you're always going to have your Ganta bell, and along with just using them simultaneously for rituals, they also have a symbolic relationship too. So, I mentioned that the Vajra represents compassion, compassionate action, where it also represents kind of more of a masculine energy, which in our culture we're like, compassion, masculine, what? No, but no, it's the compassion is supposed to be the more active component. Now, whether men are more active than women, I don't know about that, but that's the general idea, is that the Vajra represents this masculine active aspect of enlightenment. The Ganta bell is the feminine side, and so what's the feminine side of enlightenment? If the masculine side is compassion, the feminine side is actually wisdom. So generally, it would always be a trick question on my tours when I used to work at the Reuben. I'd be like, the man, one is compassion, one is wisdom. Do you think the man's compassion, or do you think the man is wisdom? Do you think the woman's compassion, or do you think the woman is wisdom? And so, pretty much everybody would always be like, oh, the man's obviously wisdom and the woman's obviously compassion. But no, it's flipped around in this case. So the more, again, masculine aspect is compassion. The more feminine side is wisdom. And they say one of the reasons why wisdom is the feminine side is because wisdom gives birth to compassion. Another reason why wisdom is considered more of a feminine energy. And what's really fundamental is that in order to become fully enlightened, you need to have both of these aspects perfected. So you need to have perfect compassion and perfect wisdom. And so what do we mean by perfect compassion and perfect wisdom? And how does that relate to us, our meditation practice, for people that aren't so perfect? I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect. So basically, I feel like I've talked about compassion a fair amount. and how, even with meditating, that's considered a compassionate act because we're working on benefiting ourselves to help others, right? But how do we really help other people? Like, how do we actually do it? And that's where wisdom comes in. Because you can do a lot of compassionate things or act a lot, but if you're not coming from a place of wisdom, are you actually doing more harm than good? So an example I used to give on my tours at the Reuben, was like, if you see a homeless person asking for money and you give them $1, that may be like the obviously compassionate thing to do, right? But, if you're giving them money and they're just going to go take that money and spend it on, alcohol or drugs, are you really helping that person? Probably not, right? You may be helping them find some, a momentary moment of relief, but, are you truly helping that person change and become, better? Are you really helping them address their core suffering? Probably not. So that's really where the wisdom aspect comes in, that we have to know exactly how we can help other people. And so that's why it's so important to know, kind of what's going on inside of ourselves before we can actually help someone else. Because a lot of the times I feel that people, that take up a cause or things like that can sometimes really just be acting based off of their own projected reality. Whereas, if they kind of come from a place of wisdom, they can actually truly do something good. And that's not to put anybody down that participates in activism or anything like that. But I feel like you need to have a certain base and a certain sense of wisdom before acting on those things. And we've seen people that get really upset about things and start being very emotional, very volatile, and begin expressing themselves. And a lot of the times those people, they end up turning people off from their cause. But if people kind of come from a more of a grounded type of energy, somebody that really truly understands what the situation is and sort of understands what's going on inside of themselves and is acting out of a place of stability rather than a place of instability, I personally believe that person is going to act wiser and ultimately act more compassionately because they know they truly understand what's going on. So that's a little thing about a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. That's why wisdom, always learning more about the situation, more about not only just the situation itself, but how you relate to the situation, can truly give you insight into what will truly be the compassionate act to do. So wisdom, meditation is cultivating that wisdom to truly understand, rather than reacting out of like a negative emotion like anger or something like that. You act from a more positive place, from a compassionate place, and you're able to see how to actually help and really be the positive change that you want to see. Cool. So let's check the chat. Cool. So we're going to start meditating now. If you have any questions during the meditation or, in between the little breaks, just feel free to type them up in the comment section, and I'll answer them at the end. So let's do it. Let's get meditating. All right, so like we've done the past few times, we're going to start off with a body scan that will last about 5 minutes. Then we will switch to, we'll take a break, and then we'll switch to focusing on our breath for about 3 to 4 minutes with some guiding. And then we'll end with another 3 to 4 minute round of breath meditation, this time with no guidance, and you'll be on your own. Okay. Cool. So make sure that you take a comfortable seat. You can feel free to be sitting cross-legged if you'd like. You can also just be sitting in a chair. If you are sitting in a chair, I would just suggest that you keep your feet uncrossed and firmly planted on the ground. You can meditate with your eyes either open or closed. It's up to you, whatever you are more comfortable with. Also, just to let you know, what was I going to say? Also, yeah, you want to keep your back straight but not rigid is the thing. And so that's a good metaphor for our practice, is that we want to build awareness along with calmness. So we want to be calm, but we don't want to be asleep. We still want to be aware. So just like your back, you want it to be straight, but you don't want it to be rigid either. Okay? So again, we'll start with the body scan, take a break, do some breath meditation, take another break, and with one more round of breath meditation. All right, here we go. I'll ring the bell twice to start. All right, now we're going to move our attention to our feet. Just becoming aware of that part of our body. Maybe your feet feel hot. Maybe your feet feel cold. Maybe you're wearing socks. Maybe you're wearing shoes. However your feet feel in this moment, just recognize it. Become aware of that part of your body. Now we'll move our attention to our seat, where our body comes in contact with the chair or the floor. Just notice that part of your body. Feel the support you have for your meditation practice. Now we're going to move our attention to our belly. Just noticing how it moves with the breath. You don't have to change anything about your belly. Just notice how it is right now in this moment. Now we're going to move our attention up to our heart. To that space in the middle of your chest. Feel that point in your chest. become aware of how it feels just right now in this moment. Now we're going to move our attention to our shoulders. Just noticing how they're doing right now. Just become aware of that part of your body. Really feel it. Now we're going to move our attention to the back of the head, becoming aware of a part of our body we don't often think about. Now we'll move our attention back down to our feet. Just noticing how they are in this moment. Now we're going to move our attention up to our seat, feeling the support. Now we're going to move our attention up to our belly, noticing its movements. Now we're going to move our attention up to our heart. That space in the middle of our chest. Now let's move our awareness up to our shoulders. Feeling that part of our body. Now we'll move our attention up to the back of the head. Just becoming aware how the back of our head feels right now in this moment. Alright, now we're going to move our attention back down to our feet. Now we'll move our awareness up to our seat. Now we're going to move our awareness up to our belly. Now we're going to move our attention up to our heart. Now we're going to move our attention to the back of the shoulders. Now we're going to move our awareness to the back of the head. Alright, in just a moment I will ring the bell once, ending our first round of meditation. Alright, take a quick break. Do anything but not meditate right now. Actually, when I meditate, I do kind of take a second. When I'm meditating on my own, I do take a second after I'm done meditating, just sort of sit, not meditate there for a little bit. Apparently something that they've done, that they emphasize a lot in the Dzogchen meditation tradition, which is practiced by the Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism. Nyingma means old school, so they're the oldest school of Tibetan Buddhism. I haven't done much Dzogchen. I don't think I've done any Dzogchen. It's an interesting practice, though. Alright. Let's go ahead and do round 2. So this time we're going to be focusing on our breath. So you're just going to put your awareness, the same awareness that you're moving throughout your body, on your breath. So wherever you feel the breath the strongest for you. So most people feel the breath either in their belly, chest, or tip of your nostrils. So again, wherever it feels the strongest for you. I go with the belly, just in case you need a suggestion. And so the rule, or the practice here really is that you just watch the breath. You don't have to change anything about your breathing, just watch the breath. And once you notice that you're no longer paying attention to your breath, just gently bring your attention back to it. And you'll just do this again and again and again, 100 times, 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, however many times. It's all good. So that's really the practice, bringing your attention back to your breath. Alright, so here we go. Now we're going to move our attention gently to our breath, to the part of the body where you feel the breath the strongest. No need to change the breath, just notice its natural movements. And if you realize that you've become distracted, that you're no longer focusing on your breath, it's truly okay. Just recognize that you've been distracted. Gently bring your attention back to the breath. And if a thought or feeling arises, you get swept away, that's truly okay. Just recognize that you've been distracted and gently bring your attention back to the breath. And if a memory from the past or thought about the future comes, you get swept away. Again, don't worry about it. Just recognize that you've been distracted and bring your attention back to the breath. Alright, in just a moment, I will ring the bell once, ending our second round of meditation. Alright, just take a quick break. People keep texting me. Okay, so let's just do one more round. So again, this time will be about 3 to 4 minutes, and still focusing on the breath, just no guidance this time, so you're on your own. Again, remember, the whole goal is about watching the mind, right? The whole goal is catching yourself when you're not focusing on the breath, because what happens is you'll like, oh, I'm focusing on the breath, oh, I'm focusing on the breath, oh, I'm focusing on the breath, oh, what am I going to do after this? Oh, I don't know, maybe I'm going to fix something for dinner. What am I going to have for dinner? I don't know, what do I have in the fridge? Oh, wait, I'm not focusing on my breath anymore. Boom, and you bring it back. So, just keep doing that again and again and again. That's really the practice. All right. So here we go. One last time. Now bring the awareness to your breath. Alright, in just a moment I will ring the bell 3 times, ending our last round of meditation. On the 3rd ring, I invite you to join me in a bow, dedicating all the merit that we've accrued today to the benefit of all sentient beings. Seems like you can probably hear all the sirens and the wind blowing through my trees. It doesn't look like there are any questions. So I guess I'm going to tune out. Thank you all for practicing with me today. I really do appreciate it. I'll come back at you with another one 2 p.m. On Tuesday. And if you have any suggestions for any topics you want me to address, again, any questions, if you think of a question later, again, just feel free to comment, shoot me an email. If you have my number, shoot me a text, and I'll address it sometime in one of these episodes. So again, thank you for practicing with me today, and I'll see you next time.